All right, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about 2.3 graphing functions. So the past couple of sections, we dealt with what a function is, how to define a function, and function notation. Now we're going to use the function notation and graph. We're going to graph the same way. It's just going to look a little bit different when we get to those ordered pairs. Okay, cool. So now, if I have something that's written like this, it's read as f of 1 equals 3. Okay, f of 1 equals 3. Now, the prior couple sections, I've asked you, okay, if I wanted an ordered pair, how would I write that? We know that what's in parentheses right there is our x value, and that whole side is equal to y, right? F of 1 is saying the same thing as y because that would be f of x. So what does y equal? Y equals 3. So in this case, y equals 3. Okay? Sorry, let me just write that that is my y. Okay, like that. Good. So now if I wanted to write x comma y, all it's going to be is 1 comma 3. So if I went to go plot f of 1 equals 3, I would plot 1 comma 3. Okay, here simply my ordered pair is negative 2 comma 1. And for number 3, if I have negative 4 as my input, my output is 2. Okay, so that's how I write ordered pairs from function notation. That should be a review from last section. All right, cool. Now what we're going to do is we need to get to those ordered pairs. We're going to get to those ordered pairs by an input-output chart. So I have a function here, and I want to graph it. Okay, I have a couple of simple steps. So first, we're going to set up our columns. Okay, set up columns for an input-output chart with an input, a rule, and an ordered pair. Okay. Well, first, let's kind of talk about this. So if we see f of x equals negative 2x plus 8. Okay, that's just a function that we don't know what it looks like right now. Later on, I'll kind of teach you how to understand what it should look like. But that is just a normal function. So I want to graph that. Okay, cool. So what we're going to do, our input, we're always going to use our input as x. Okay, because our input in there is x. So that would be our input. Okay, now our output, is going to be f of x, right? So if I have an input and an output, okay, I'm going to write an ordered pair as x comma f of x. So that's the same thing as saying x comma y. So if I have an ordered pair of x comma f of x, the same thing as saying x comma y. Good. Now my rule is simply what's on the other side of the function notation. So the rule is negative 2x plus 8. Okay, so that's my rule. Okay, so I set up my 3 columns with my input, my rule, and my ordered pair. That's what I did for step 1. So good. Now I'm going to pick 3 values. Now I'm going to say pick 0, 1, and 2 for now. Sometimes it might be a little bit different, but for right now, for this activity, we're going to use 0. Now skip some space. You can go 1, skip some space, and you're going to go 2. Okay, if you need some room, you could erase and move your inputs down a little bit. Okay, cool. Now what we're going to do is simply, we're going to evaluate each rule and create an ordered pair. So all that means I'm going to take that input value of 0 and I'm going to plug it in for x right there. So if I rewrite this, it's going to say negative 2 times what's my input 0 plus 8. Simply all I'm going to do is go ahead and evaluate that. Negative 2 times 0 is 0. Bring down what I didn't use. 0 plus 8 is 8. Okay, cool. So now my input is 0. My output is 8. So if I want an ordered pair of x comma f of x, that's my f of x. And now where my output is 8. Okay, cool. Now, let's do that again for number 1. Let's change the color there. We'll go blue. All right, so now now my input's a 1 now, not a 0. So I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to plug in a 1. So it's going to be negative 2 times 1 plus 8. Okay, now simply I'm going to evaluate. Negative 2 times 1 is negative 2, plus 8. Okay, negative 2 plus 8 is simply 6. So my input is 1, my output is 6. Awesome. Okay, I'm just going to move this 2 down a little bit. Awesome. Then I'm going to do the same thing. Let's change a color here. Let's pick orange. Cool. Okay, now, if I have orange. Okay, cool. Now it's going to say, okay, now I'm going to take my 2 and plug it in for my rule. So it's going to be negative 2 times 2 plus 8. Okay, so that's simply going to evaluate. Negative 2 times 2 is negative 4. Bring down what I use, plus 8. Negative 4 plus 8 is simply 4. Okay, so lastly, my input is 2, my output is a 4, so my ordered pair is going to be simply 2, comma, 4. Okay. Now, I have 1 ordered pair, 2 ordered pairs, 3 ordered pairs. If I want to plot those ordered pairs, I'm going to come over to my graph. So let's plot that first one. So I'm going to color code. Let's go green. So 0, okay, on the x-axis, and my y value is 8. So all I'm going to do is go up 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 right there. Good. My blue coordinate is going to be 1, comma 0, so I'm going to go right 1 and go up 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, cool. And my last ordered pair is going to be 2, comma 4. So that's going to be orange. So 2, 1, 2, up 4. It's going to look something like that. So I have those 3 ordered pairs right there, and you could kind of see that if you did connect them, they'd be in a straight line. That looks something. That looks something like that. Okay? So now I would just draw my line, and I'm going to go ahead and draw my arrows at both ends. And I'm going to tell you that all of the ones that we're doing today are going to be linear functions, which means that they're all going to look like lines. Okay? Cool. So what I want to try to do is go through one more example, and then the third one's going to be a money problem. Okay. Good. Now I'm going to go through this one a little bit quicker. Okay, so I have my 3 columns chart here. I'm going to fill it in with my input of x, my rule of 3x minus 9, and my ordered pair. Now this is a little bit different. It's going to be x because that's my input, but now what's my output? My output is g of x. Okay, so now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to choose 0. I'm going to choose 1. And I'm going to choose 2. Now you could choose anything you want. The lower the numbers are, the easier it's going to be to evaluate. But you could use positive, you could use negatives, you could use decimals if you wanted to. But it's just going to be a little bit harder to plot. Alright, good. So now, let's start with my 0. So all I'm going to do is plug that 0 in. So it's going to be 3 times 0 minus 9. I go ahead and evaluate. 3 times 0 is 0. Okay, minus 9. 0 minus 9 is just negative 9. So my input is 0. My output is negative 9. Awesome. So I'm going to go ahead with my number 1. Okay, so I'm going to have 3 times 1 minus 9. I go ahead and evaluate. 3 times 1 is 3 minus 9. 3 minus 9 is negative 6. Okay, so input of 1, I output a negative 6. My ordered pair is going to be 1, comma, negative 6. Awesome. Lastly, I have my 2. Plug it in. It's going to be 3 times 2 minus 9. Okay, 3 times 2 is 6, minus 9. 3 minus 9 is negative 3. Okay, so now when I go ahead and plot this, it's going to be 2, comma, negative 3. That doesn't look like a 3. No, what number I was writing. Negative. There we go. Okay. Cool. Now, When I go ahead and plot, let's start with that 0, -9. So 0, -9, start here. My x is 0, so I'm not moving it anywhere left or right. And I'm going to drop down all the way 9, and it's going to be that point right there, and that should have been not purple. Let's keep it color-coded. Good. Now, my next point, my green point, 1, -6. So it's going to be 1, -6, -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6. My last one is going to be my 2, -3, so +2, -3 is right there. Okay, now you can see that those 3 points do fall in a line configuration. If I just connected them something like that, that's what they're going to look like. Something like that. Okay, now for these, I'm always going to draw my arrows up both ends. Something like that. Okay, cool. Alright, so now the next one is going to be a money problem. Good luck. Pause the video. Once you have it completed, just call me over and I'll check it. Alright, so now this is going to be the last really skill that I'm going to go over with function and function notation. And we're going to be reading a graph. So if I'm looking at a graph, I don't know what this function is right now. But I do know what the graph looks like, and all I want to do is evaluate using the graph. And this is a little bit more visual, so it might be a little bit easier, which is fine. Okay, so now I have, if I have, that should, okay, so I'm saying right here, okay, I'm saying f of 3. Now if I have f of 3, that shouldn't be there. Let me just cross that out. Let's go here and here, and just want to cross that out. Okay, sorry about that. So now I'm saying f of 3 equals. Now I need a number here. Okay, there was a 1 there, but let me just kind of write that out and see if it would be 1. Okay, so this is saying when what is 3? Well, what would be there? If I was just saying this as a function notation, I would say f of x, right? So what value is in the parentheses? It's always your x value. So I'm saying when x is 3, so where's x3? What is y? So you're going to kind of go to 3 and find your function, and your function has a value of there for when x is 3. So that ordered pair would be what? 3, 2. So you're saying when x is 3, y is 2. So all you would say is f of 3 equals 2. Simple as that. Okay, next one you're going to have. Okay, you're going to have f of, let's see, this actually should be -3. Okay, that should be -3. So if you want to rewrite this as f of -3 equals, okay, so f of -3. So if I have x as -3, what is my y value? And that lies right between 2 and 3, which would be 2.5. Okay, cool. So all I'm doing is finding those ordered pairs. So that ordered pair would be -3, 2.5. Okay, lastly, now this is a little bit trickier because I don't have the x value. But what am I given? I'm given the y value. So when y is 1, what is my x? Well, the only value where y is 1 is right there. So that ordered pair is 0, 1. So what is my x value? My x value is 0, so you would rewrite that as f of 0 equals 1. Alright, cool. Alright, so all you're doing is basically looking at the graph. Now the next one, okay, the next one you're going to have f of x equals 3. So when what is 3, you're looking for another value. That's going to be a money problem. So I want it written something like that. Alright, good luck. See you next time.